Welcome to 4 Sunday Morning. I'm Eliott Rodriguez. We can all be victims of crime. We see it so often that we realize it could happen to any one of us at any time. But most of us would like to think that we are safe in our own neighborhoods in the middle of the day, right? Well, think again. CBS 4's Mike Kerr set out to find out how safe our homes are in the middle of the day when we are out and our neighbors are home. What he found out when he did the burglary test will surprise you and may make you think long and hard about starting a Citizens Crime Watch group in your neighborhood. Here's Mike's report.
Quiet street. Most people are probably at work. When the cat's away, the mice will play.
A crew of CBS 4 News employees recently burglarized the homes of co-workers with their consent to test how neighbors would respond in the area. One neighbor in Kendall looked right at us loading up as he drove by. In Fort Lauderdale, we evidently didn't make enough noise for any neighbor or any car passing by to stop us.
Oh, that's a nice hedge cutter. Hollywood.
In Hollywood, the gas grill we were stealing actually seemed to annoy this neighbor lady who had to squeeze her way around it and our burglary vehicle.
I might walk mine through so I don't...
It's raining by the time we reach Westchester.
And here's another neighbor right there.
As we make our getaway, we see a couple of neighbors next door.
Hi. Thanks for letting us rob your neighbor.
Or did they call the police on our suspicious vehicle after all?
How you doing, sir? You guys get a call about suspicious vehicle? No? You didn't get a call from anybody about a suspicious vehicle? Okay, thank you. Coral Gables. There's a lady across the street. Hey, there's a lady across the street. Hi.
We burglarized 9 homes in 6 hours in broad daylight all over South Florida, and nobody stopped us.
I'm just going to back it in and we'll just haul it out. Country Walk, isn't this a pretty place?
Nobody.
Just that fast.
We decided to play back our undercover tape for some of the neighbors, like the neighbor in Westchester who we thought called the cops on us after we cleaned out his neighbor's house across the street.
That house right there.
It turns out he never called the cops because he didn't see anything, because his neighbor's house across the street was hidden by shrubs. He simply thought we might be a realtor in the area.
And we drove by and we said, hi. Hi. You were so nice. And we stole all your neighbor's stuff.
Oh my God.
We did discover the Coral Gables neighbor who stared us down did call the police. Joanne Menendez is a work-from-home mother who was concerned for her kids. She didn't buy my friendly hello.
Just kept on looking, and that's when you said hi.
Hi.
And when I said hi to you, that didn't win you over?
No, not at all. And that's when I called the police.
She ended up canceling the call when we left, but it was her stare down that had spooked us in the first place. Joanne Menendez is the kind of neighbor Eileen Fisher can only dream of. The 80-year-old Miami resident tells police her place has been burglarized so many times she's moving after more than 40 years living here. She blames her neighbors for the unchecked burglaries that plague this neighborhood.
Neighbors don't care anymore. It's just they live in their little house and the other neighbor lives in the other house, and that's it.
That's why it's so important for you to have Crime Watch established in the community that you live in. People don't take the time out to get to know their neighbors, and they've been living there 5 or 6 years. But if you get to know your neighbor, especially if you're on vacation, you can start that way. Yes, it will work.
And for homeowners who think expensive silent alarm systems stop burglars, think again. Privately, cops and security specialists tell us burglars often believe they can be out of a home long before alarm companies and police are contacted and respond. Authorities suggest homeowners install audible alarms that actually make noise.
Makes a lot of noise, it scares the burglar away. So he'll abandon whatever it is that he's doing. And it also alerts your neighbors if anybody's up, when anybody's around, you can hear for a couple blocks.
Authorities also say often a burglar's worst enemy is a man's best friend.
What a nice boy. Such a nice
Just make sure your pooch knows not to lick the hand that robs him.
How you doing? Hey, can we come in and burglarize your home? Thank you. That deserves a treat.
In the end, most every neighborhood we tested failed to notice we were there. At one home, we even got in a quick game of hoop.
Nobody's home. Get a little game real quick. Nothing but the bottom of the net. Nice.
It's no surprise that burglars are increasingly stealing people blind in sunny South Florida.
I'll tell you what, my wife likes necklaces. She likes diamond earrings, parakeets. It's all ours for the taking. We're just your friendly burglars. Thanks for letting us rob your neighbor.
An eye-opening report, and I should mention that Mike Kirsch is not a burglar, not a criminal. These were homes that belonged to CBS 4 News employees who allowed Mike Kirsch to do this in order to dramatize this problem. All right, joining me right now to talk about this is Carmine Caldwell. Carmine is the Executive Director of Citizens Crime Watch in Miami-Dade County, and nice to have you on our show.
Nice to be here.
I know that you have been involved in this effort for a long time.
26 years.
26 years. You've seen a lot of things. What was your reaction when you saw Mike Kirsch's report?
It didn't surprise me, Eliott, and that's why we stress the fact that people need to know their neighborhood, they need to know their neighbors, because a police officer can come by 100 times in a neighborhood, but he doesn't know what's going on in a neighborhood, who belongs, who doesn't. And in that part of the show, even like the little lady that was going by the car, you know, if she didn't know who lived there, then of course, how would she know that something was going on?
Did it surprise you, though, that there were people seeing what was happening and saw people who are normally not in that neighborhood who were going inside a house, taking things out of the house, and didn't do anything?
Yeah, it didn't surprise me because, again, a lot of times people, when they don't know, they go, well, you know, should we call? Should we not call? You know, so again, it's you've got to know your neighborhood. You've got to know who belongs.
What do you recommend people do in a situation like that where they're not sure?
I always tell them that if it don't feel good here, if it makes them look, call the police. Better to be safe than sorry.
Okay, and risk the embarrassment of having your neighbor say, oh, that person called the police?
It doesn't matter because I know that a lot of people think like that. Well, you know, I don't want to embarrass them. What about if it's a brother? What about if it's a cousin? You know, they may get upset. And I have found over the years that they don't get upset because that's how you do avoid a burglary.
What are some of the things that we do, though, to make it easier for the burglars to get inside the house? Like Mike Kirsch pointed out, a lot of the heavy foliage around the house. What are some of the other things?
The thing is that people, again, we go back to knowing the neighborhood and who are your neighbors and who belongs. But, you know, we have a tendency to the hedges, not have a clear view, even if a police officer is coming through. Lighting is very important at night. People think that, oh, it's going to cost me a lot of money if I leave my front porch light or my back light on. You know, it's not. You know, it's just being visible and vigilant really is what you need to do. A lot of people leave stuff Saturdays. Most of you men are out cutting the grass and their garage door is open. And you leave it open. Not a good idea. You know, because then they can be driving around. A lot of these crimes are crimes of opportunity. These burglaries are going to go into neighborhoods that they see that nobody is paying attention, that it looks quiet, and that's exactly what Mike did.
Right. You like the alarms that you can hear as opposed to silent alarms.
Yes. The thing is that, again, if you have a neighborhood that's vigilant, you know, and they hear that alarm and they know that that neighbor is working, they're going to look. A lot of times people don't realize that they're monitoring from their alarm companies in like Oklahoma or, you know, India or somewhere, you know. And it takes almost 7 minutes from the time that alarm goes off to gets to the monitor to gets to calling the police. Whereas if a neighbor hears an alarm and sees that there's a red truck there and that red truck doesn't belong, they're going to call 911.
Let me bring a little prop that you brought with you today. And like I said earlier, I know you've been involved in this, and this is something that people can put in their neighborhood if they start a Citizens Crime Watch group. And how do you go about starting one of these?
What we do is we come out when someone requests a meeting. We come out with the officer, the community policing officer in that area. We explain to all the neighbors. They get to introduce each other. They get to tell, you know, who's home during the day, do they have a nanny, you know, all the particulars of that house so that they really get to know each other. What
about people who fear, well, this is going to be people spying on their neighbors and spying on each other? I mean, it's not that, is it?
No, it isn't, because, you know, we have that in the Spanish neighborhood. That took me a couple of years to get over in Eliott. But I always tell them, I says, yeah, you know, this is, you know, like in Cuba and wherever, comité, but it's against the burglar, not against your neighbors. So I really don't have that problem too much anymore.
If somebody would like to start a Citizens Crime Watch group, which I'm familiar with the organization, I think it's great, and I think that people should know their neighbors, and we live in a very fast-paced society where you don't always have that opportunity. But if you have that Citizens Crime Watch group, you have the sign in your neighborhood, it's going to help. It's going to make sure that people are going to know what's going on. How do you start one?
Well, they can call our office, or they can call their local police department and see if they have a crime prevention unit or a neighborhood watch unit. And if not, you know, they can call our office, or they can go to our website, citizenscrimewatch.com, and they can, you know, look at our website and request a service. But again, the easiest way is just give us a call.
Okay, we've got the information on your screen, and if you would like to start a Citizens Crime Watch organization, here's the information in Miami-Dade County. Go to the website, citizenscrimewatch.com, and in Miami-Dade you can call 305-470-1670. If you're in Broward County, you can call BSO, and I'm sure that BSO can put you in contact with a similar organization.
BSO doesn't have an organization like us, because we are a nonprofit that's funded by the county, but BSO Sheriff's Department, all their satellite are part of Neighborhood Watch.
Okay, wonderful. So whether you live in Miami-Dade or Broward County,
Palm Beach too.
Palm Beach County, it certainly is a good idea to start a Citizens Crime Watch group in your neighborhood. Great way to know your neighbors. It's not just to fight crime. You might end up, you know, socializing and having a good time.
And they do. You know, we have a lot of Crime Watch that twice a year they get together and have a barbecue. But, you know, again, we cannot depend on police. There's never going to be enough police officers, you know, so we need to work with them in partnership.
Carmine, Caldwell, thank you very much for joining us here on 4 Sunday Morning. Now.